Did you know that if you live in the United States, you almost certainly eat genetically modified food? About 95% of sugar beets, 88% of corn, and 94% of soybeans grown here contain engineered traits. GMOs have been a part of our food system for decades, yet they remain one of the most debated technologies in modern agriculture. Some see them as a breakthrough for food security and sustainability. Others worry about health, the environment, and corporate control. So why do GMOs spark such strong reactions? To understand, we need to look at their history, their benefits and risks, and their impact on nature and society. Genetically modified organism, or GMO, is any plant, animal, or microbe whose DNA has been altered to emphasize certain traits. This can happen through ancient methods like selective breeding or modern techniques like direct gene transfer. Humans have been reshaping species for thousands of years. Early farmers saved seeds or bred animals with desirable traits, and over generations, this transformed entire species. Sweet corn began as a tiny grass seed, and wild cabbage, Brassica oleracea, gave rise to broccoli, cauliflower, kale, and Brussels sprouts. One vivid example is the watermelon. A 17th century still life by Italian artist Giovanni Stanchi shows a pale fruit filled with large, dark seeds, nothing like the bright red, mostly seedless melons we eat today. Centuries of selective breeding steadily pushed the fruit towards sweetness, richer color, and fewer seeds. Modern genetic engineering takes this process further. Instead of waiting on chance mutations, scientists can now directly transfer genes between species, a process called transgenesis. In the 1920s, researchers used radiation and chemicals to induce mutations, producing new traits still found in crops today. The breakthrough came in 1983 when scientists successfully inserted a bacterial gene into a tobacco plant. In 1994, the Flavor Saver tomato became the first genetically engineered crop approved for U.S. sale. Designed to ripen more slowly, it was short-lived, but marked the beginning of the GMO era and the public debate that still continues. Genetic engineering has delivered major successes. Golden rice was created to combat vitamin A deficiency, which blinds hundreds of thousands of children every year. In Hawaii, virus-resistant papaya rescued the industry from collapse in 1990s. BT crops, which produce their own insecticide, has reduced pesticide use in countries like Bangladesh, improving farmer health and income. Herbicide-tolerant crops such as Roundup Ready corn and soybeans allow more efficient weed control. Looking ahead, researchers are developing GMOs for drought tolerance, improved nutrition, and even carbon capture. On health, decades of studies and reviews by organizations like the World Health Organization and the National Academy of Sciences have found no evidence that eating GMO foods is more risky than eating conventional crops. Concerns focus instead on indirect issues such as increased glyphosate use tied to herbicide-tolerant varieties. Other risks include gene flow, where traits spread into non-GM crops, and resistance, with weeds and pests adapting to herbicides or Bt toxins, driving heavier chemical use. Economically, the market is dominated by a few multinational companies that patent seeds and link them to proprietary chemicals, raising concerns about farmer costs and autonomy. Environmentally, critics argue that GMOs can reinforce large-scale monocultures that deplete soils and reduce biodiversity. Supporters counter that, paired with sustainable practices, GMOs could help reduce agriculture's footprint and improve resilience against climate change. The environmental effects of GMOs are complex. Some engineered traits, like insect resistance, have reduced the need for broad-spectrum pesticide sprays, lowering chemical exposure for both ecosystems and farm workers. But other traits, especially herbicide tolerance, have encouraged heavier use of single chemicals such as glyphosate. Over time, this can alter weed populations, reduce biodiversity in fields, and push farmers toward more intensive chemical management. Another concern is the impact on non-target species. Crops designed to produce their own insecticides must be carefully monitored to ensure they don't harm pollinators, butterflies, or beneficial soil organisms. The possibility of modified genes spreading into related wild plants also raises ecological questions, even if it happens only in limited cases. The broader challenge is how GMOs will fit into existing farming systems. When deployed in monocultures, vast fields of a single crop, they can magnify ecological risks. Monocropping diminishes soil health, reduces habitat diversity, and increases vulnerability to pests and disease. By contrast, combining GMOs with crop rotation, cover crops, and other sustainable practices can help mitigate these risks and support more resilient ecosystems. In short, the environmental footprint of GMOs depends less on the technology itself and more on how it is managed within agriculture. Integrated responsibly, they may lessen some pressures on the environment. Used carelessly, they can deepen the problems already linked to industrial farming. So where do we stand on GMOs? Decades of research show that eating genetically engineered food is no more risky than eating conventional crops. The real debate lies not in human health, but in how GMOs are used, economically, socially, and environmentally. They can boost yields, improve nutrition, and help crops adapt to a changing climate. But when linked to corporate monopolies or unsustainable farming, they can deepen problems like chemical dependence and biodiversity loss. The challenge isn't to accept or reject GMOs outright, but to apply them responsibly. That means transparency, independent research, and policies that put sustainability, biodiversity, and farmer choice first. Used wisely, GMOs could be part of the solution to feeding a growing world without exhausting our planet. What do you think? Should GMOs be part of our future food system? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this video insightful, subscribe to Forever Green and join our community as we explore science, nature, and sustainability together.